Welcome everybody to the Biology Project Insight session. My name is Martin Hudi. I'm the founder of the Biology Project and the creator of the Learn to Think Biologically program. And in a short period of time, we've seen many participants come through the program, and we've invited some participants of the former programs, and the depth of the work that we've done together has been substantial. So we prepared some questions for you.
Okay, does anybody want to talk, or would you prefer that I asked you some of those questions to prompt you?
I can start with something.
Yeah.
There's so many. I have a great example, a practical example, but to start in a kind of overall context for me is without knowing Germanische before this, before entering in Think Biologically, before GHK, GNM, Germanische entered in my life, I would compare myself to Mary Poppins, and I didn't even understand what that meant. I mean, other than I resonated with the archetype, I can get information from other dimensions, and so anyway, then in comes Germanische, and I realize, oh my gosh, I'm a flyer. I'm constellated flying. And what does this mean for my practical work in life? I kept getting this comment back when teaching other things. It's so confusing. It's not practical. It's not simple. Can you simplify it? Can you ground it? And I was so frustrated with this. Like, what are they asking of me? I'm giving them the truth. I'm out there. I know this is information that is important. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes Think Biologically. And I had this, it was after being in an experience of delivering information to students through the animal lens of the feedback was, do you have any practical steps? And my own limited perception said, oh yes, I have some practical steps. But then came this offering, Think Biologically. Well, and I knew intuitively, I knew this was right for me. I just couldn't explain it. And so I dove in. And then literally the first meeting, I said, okay, I'm a flyer and I don't even know what this is going to mean for me, what this project, what this experience is going to mean. I think part of the constellation for me, the nuances of I'm terrified to land in territory. I'm terrified to ground myself. So to be in a place where I'm being offered something practical to come down to earth and land and be in the human experience, I have to kind of I have to dance and face that, the parts of the constellation. So in this space, keeping in mind that I'm no longer isolated and I'm in community and I'm being held, and it's very, it's very loving. Nothing is off limits. It's a permission slip to be accepted exactly as you are. You're a mammal, you're in nature, and if this is what you're experiencing, then there's a reason for this. And it brought me out of the clouds for moments in time to say, oh, this makes sense. And also, why am I hanging out in the clouds? But what does this really mean from an animal perspective? Not just, that I've constellated and I've learned the things from the book, but how do I function with this? And really, to be able to witness and notice others. And mostly, there's so many beautiful examples, but really, it's the theme of once you know it, you can't unknow it. Once you can think like this, you cannot unthink like this. And everything has changed. Everything has changed. And it's inspired me. So to be able to laugh about so many of these things also has been such a freedom in my whole body, in my mind. It's okay to laugh, and so many examples. I'll come back to some very practical ones of my own life experience. For 10 years, I've been searching for an answer, and the very first week in this class, I asked, well, this is what I want to know about. And within the first 24 hours, the answer arrived, and very biological, something I would never have thought about. So I'll leave you with a cliffhanger and let everyone else share.
Mm.
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you. And so the revelation that you're talking about is basically that having done the course, you are now able to put words to what you're feeling and to say, oh, now I understand why I'm feeling this. And it's okay because you understand now why you're feeling it, because you understand identity, you understand territory. Is that a summary of what you were saying there? Just so
Yes,
I
and even yes, and even further that feelings, and I won't get this quote exactly right, that they are my reactions to, that they're actually not the the biological part. It's just that part, the part of me that's reacting to something biologically. So
got it.
that it's natural for me to want to defend my territory. How I'm reacting to it is really besides the point. So that was another massive insight where when I asked Martin a question about, well, I hear this a truth, I hear something, a voice, a truth, and then the other part, there's another voice in me that says, don't tell me what to do. And so I asked about
Mhm.
that, and so he said, well, listen to the voice, not the reaction to it. And that just opened up a space of awareness of, oh, right, because reactions and emotions are in another way are passing through. They're not in truth part of the natural animal in biology. It's not instinct, it's a reaction, not the actual not the biology. It's the only way I can say it this time at this point. But yes, so yes, and further to distinguish between the two is huge for me because I identify with all the emotions and I attach to them and then they take flight. And so do I.
I would like to know what were the biggest changes after the program. Was there something that, clicked for you?
My experience during the 8 weeks of the program is that I was given targets, thinking targets, surrounded by a wealth of information about how to locate them. So I feel now I have direction for my thinking. I have a roadmap. The roadmap aspect was the most useful for me, but what really fundamentally reorganized how I think is the concept of the territories, being encouraged to identify our territory, being reminded that setting boundaries is caring for the territory. I think if there was one fundamental piece that informed the rest of the work, it was this understanding that we all have territories, and actually our responsibility in our relationships is to identify, define them, and care for them. That one, if the course taught me one thing, it's that, and then was able to build through Martin's guidance. And so secondly to this understanding of the territories was the target of this coin versus that coin. It became so clear to me, and I can do it so easily now, see how I'm just flipping back and forth between the two sides of the coin and find what the other coin is. Actually, it's less easy for me to do it for myself. It's very easy for me to see how other people are doing it. But as I advance understanding of how other people work, obviously I get more information on how I do. So yeah, some new defaults that are much more supportive of low friction relationships.
I'll say that my thinking has evolved in a couple really important ways. I just don't take things as personally anymore. It's very easy to put a biological lens now on what people's actions are, to understand why they're doing what they're doing, and to not take it personally. So that's helped me in all my relationships.
This is our last week of class, actually. So I'm still feeling like I'm processing. And probably if you ask me these questions in 6 months, I will have more clear answers to them. But one of the things that I've been working with a lot and was working with throughout the classes was that I became a grandmother almost 4 years ago for the first time. And so it's been such a huge change in my life. And what I did often was get very confused about territory. Like this grandchild sort of felt like my territory, but he's really not my territory in lots of ways. And getting the clarity around that, but then even further territory, like what is my territory? What are other people's territory? Where do we blend territories? That kind of thing. So for me, I've really become clear about that. And it's brought me such peace in myself. Like I actually feel this, okay, Leslie, what? Okay, that's not your territory. And then I just feel this relaxation come into my body about it. I feel, yeah, that feels like one of the biggest pieces. The identity piece too, I think, as Amy mentioned, I think for me too, territory and identity were two very big pieces I've been looking at. I'm still working with the identity piece, but I definitely again feel more peaceful about, I don't quite have words for it yet. Just knowing who I am on a deeper level. Like I just feel more clear about that. And I do feel like my relationships with my even my partner, I feel softer even. And I do understand those dynamics to a certain extent, but I feel like this course helped me deepen that. So I am noticing within my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my children, and my relationship with my daughter-in-law, because that was one of the big triggers I've been working with, the mother of the grandchild. I just feel a softening, which feels really profound for me. And I think that I'm just observing things differently. I'm observing my triggers in a deeper way from more of a biological perspective than I used to look at them more psychologically, which I think is still part of who I am. And that's going to be, I'm a therapist. I've been working in that field for a long time, but there's something about really seeing it from a biological perspective I can feel the shift in my relationships.
Very happy.
It's been really amazing. I love it.
So the whole program, what changed for me was I grew up on a farm in the 80s in Austria on the mountains, like a very natural way. And then I left for the city. I think I was 12. And I never felt home ever again. Like it was really a struggle. Moving around all the time. Like I couldn't find my grounding anymore. I completely lost that. And even with GHK, it was too complicated for me because everything was very medical explained and all these layers. And I'm like, oh, that's too much. Like there should be an easier way. And I think that program really showed me back to my roots. And we have a lot of sayings in Austria, like wisdom sayings that my grandmother and great-grandmother said at the tables. And I remember them. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so connected to our health and our mind and our body. Like, why did I ever lose that? And then being in the program, it changed my whole relationship with my husband. Like, finally, I found like, okay, I belong to him. I was like, this woman, you don't tell me what to do. But now I find this softness in me. And I have 3 sons. And I was a challenge. And even I think the forgiving myself to be so hard with them when they were growing up. And, you have to be a boy and you have to, like my father did with me, which I was not a boy, but I was raised like a boy. So that shift was really profound. And my boys are now almost adults. They're men, actually. They're not boys anymore. But how they navigate now through life and how they find wisdom and even use GHK and use Dysphoria, because they were always like asking and, seeing the changes in me and asking questions. And now they're friends sitting together and, we all sit together and talk about it. And I feel like I'm grounded again. I know where my place is and I don't need anything anymore. I feel like this peace finally arrived. And the heaviness is just gone of like even raising my boys. We have fun now. Like everything I couldn't do when they were like little. Now it's like now we have fun and now we're climbing trees. And now I'm like this mother that I wanted to be. And they still gave me kind of like a second chance to do that. And I'm really grateful for that. So I feel like this is a new life.
Wow,
Right.
that's really amazing.
Yes.
And you actually wrote a testimony, Clarissa, as well, which said something like, if Dr. Hammer was going to put something together, you believe that this program was all of that in one program,
Yeah,
which I think is awesome.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mhm.
You cannot separate. And I see that in you know, when you grow up on a farm, you watch the animals, you live with the animals. They are easy. Like we are so complicated, right?
Yeah.
But if we just listen to this inner voice, and this is what it really is, I really trust my instincts now more than anything else. And this is what I teach my children. And everything else, it just doesn't matter. Like listen what they have to say and trust your instinct. And the most profound for me, I do not react anymore. I'm like, okay, I take my time. I know my nervous system and I can think before I react.
Wow.
That's big. Mhm.
Yeah. And when did
Yeah.
you do the class, Clarissa? You were in the first class, right?
I was in the first one.
Yeah.
And even the last couple of months, you know the changes, right? I even talked to Nicola. There's so much change in the last couple of months. And I had, you know, GHK before a couple of years, and you know, I'm very simple. I just need the biological to understand.
Okay. Valentine, would you like to share something now?
Sure. Hi. Uh, for me, your class, Martin, is exactly what I wanted in a way that for me, GHK is like kind of that's obvious. And that's the piece that I needed all my life, that I knew inside, but I didn't get that. So, but knowing all of that, I was like, yeah, but how do I use it? Like I'm like, well, I have a daily life with a lot of daily life things with three boys, and I'm like, I don't have the time all the time to sit at my table to say, what's that again, to try to understand. And now I'm like, ah, this is the tools. Oh, thank you. I can just use them. So it's just tools. It's just like a way of thinking of how to use that knowledge that are really theoretical and great. But then I like, yeah, it's really tools and practical life. I'm really a practical person in life, so I really like efficiency. And this is so efficient, like that's just insane. So like since the first week, I'm like, I know how to not get upset anymore in the morning with my boys. Yay! So yeah, so that's really, really great. I found for me and for my relatives. Yeah, thank you.
Is it also that your boys notice changes?
Yes, they see that I'm more calm, definitely, and also more fair, even though we know there is no such a thing. Yeah, in their perspective, like they find the life like very, because there is a follow through every boundary, and they see that. Well, I don't want to say everything that I learned in that class, but yes, the main one is, well, to put boundaries is a major one. It's a really, really major one. Mm. They see that, definitely. They cannot explain it because they are still young, but it's more calm.
And so, Valentine, were you saying that because you've been setting boundaries now with your family, it's brought some positive results?
Oh, yes. definitely. Like the boundaries love is just a game changer in my life. Just to have like Martin just said, that it's comes with a lot of negative attention, boundary, but there is a mixed message in the society in general. Like when you are in school, well, you have to set boundaries at home, blah blah blah. Yeah, but when I do, you're like, well, it's too much, blah blah. So finding that boundary is love, and the way Martin explained it with like it puts you at ease when you have a boundary and you know what to do and when to do and where to do and with who and how. Like, oh, I'm not confused anymore, so I can do it. And that's where is my freedom. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. So yes, yes, boundaries is so good.
So we can say that before you were reacting to boundaries as something negative, and now it's like something that you are curious about.
Well, I guess both, because I think that I was really at ease when I had, because I didn't feel confused, but without knowing it, really. But when I wanted to put boundaries, I was always struggling, like I'm gonna be rejected, or blah 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 blah, blah, or I'm gonna feel shame. And now I'm like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's not that. So yes, it's definitely changed my perspective on that, 100%.
Learning what my values were and how to not take things personally really helped me to see where I was feeling attacked by others or where I was taking things personally. And changes in the body, like I've had skin clearing up, moles and skin tags are coming off. Just an overall feeling of, even if someone gets upset, I don't need to get pulled into that energy or into the argument. I can just take a moment, breathe, and figure out, okay, what will my response be? Is this their territory issue or mine? Or a value set, which is really neat way to look at it. It helps so much in just really being triggered a lot less.
Is it easier for you to understand what the other person is talking about?
Mhm. Totally. And even just trying to look at it from their lens as well, versus they're attacking me or whatever they're saying is uncomfortable. It's that I did something wrong. I find a lot of women, maybe men too, but just in my experience working with clients, is our first response is, I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Someone's upset with me. Or with men, when they need that time to go away to think about their solution or what the resolution may be, I would take it as rejection instead of like, oh, he needs time to go and think it through and then come back when he has the answer. So it's just, yeah, overall, it's been really amazing at just looking at things, taking a step back to look at it instead of getting caught into the mix. And that's when we react versus being able to have that space where we can respond and feel better about our response.
All right. So, Brenna, are you ready to jump in? Do you have something to share, or would you like me to ask you some questions?
Yeah, I think I'll share.
Yeah.
It sort of goes with what Valentine was just saying, what Martin was just saying. The sort of the biggest shift I had throughout the last few weeks. It sort of started at the beginning of the course when Martin talked about the homestead. And I've talked about this a few times, like in class, like how just it really um, altered how I think about boundaries. And imagining, I'm very visual, so imagining that I've have this homestead, that I've tended this garden, that I'm looking after these animals, like nothing emotional about putting up a fence to protect it. There's nothing um, wrong with it. It's so neutral. Nobody would look at you like, why are you putting up a fence to protect your property? Like it's such a neutral um, thing to do. And again, and maybe similar to Valentine and probably a lot of people, like setting boundaries was maybe the biggest hurdle I've had is, feeling like uh, I don't want to be seen as a bad person. I don't want to be seen as not generous or giving. And as a mother, I want to give to my children. But at what cost, right? And also like taking pride, like in what I'm tending. So, like seeing my inner world, which is my territory most important, taking pride in what I've cultivated. When I have cultivated peace, when I have been able to create something, like I want to look after that now. And I'm just seeing it in such a different way now. So I think that's been the biggest shift for me. And even when I'm talking to other people, like I think we hear a lot about boundaries and how important it is. And I feel like maybe I've been looking at boundaries more as like a prison with some barbed wire. Now I kind of have a more beautiful, wholesome view of what that is. Yeah.
So how has that changed? In what way are you looking at? You mean like you've got a new appreciation for that? Or can you speak a little bit more about what you meant there?
I've been spending a lot of time like thinking about my serenity, trying to reframe things as things I want, not obviously the things I don't. So yeah, I guess like what I've been cultivating throughout is more serenity, seeing it as my job. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, that's great. Thank you.
So, Christine, you were in the first round, no, in September already.
Correct. Yes. So I've had over 6 months to really just put the work in. And actually, I have some really neat things to share as far as how I was able to change my thinking around two main areas. One, territory. What is my territory, especially as a business owner, and an attack. So with the cerebellum. So the first one with territory, I definitely was able to change, first of all, learning what is my territory. And I really appreciated the thoughtful questions for homework so that we could think about it through the time until the next class. And what's really great about the way that you worked with us was that we would give an example of, let's say, someone overstepping our territory, but you wouldn't just leave us with just the answer that we gave. You would bring us in even deeper. Well, how about this? And how about this? So I just really appreciated kind of like, for me, it's like the turning of my brain of like the way that I saw it or the perception. And then you took me one or two turns deeper to see the bigger picture. And I was like, oh, I never thought of it from that angle, which is really cool. And in business, because I have the business as my territory and I have my sister who helps me there, and her and I have had an up and down life, I would say, of fighting and really just looking at her, as my loving sister instead of an annoying sister that she was growing up. It has also shifted when she moves stuff in my territory. So I'm having way less reflux or heartburn because I'm able to detach. Yes, this is my territory, and I'm grateful that she's in the territory helping me. An old me would have been like, oh no, I did something bad and felt attacked in my territory. But immediately, like within a minute, I was able to flip it to this nurturing energy where I'm like, yeah, absolutely, come on. I'll take you into the salt cave and we'll start your session. And immediately I had smelly armpits and I was like, oh, yes, like resolving on the fly, which is really cool. That attack conflict or feeling attacked. And again, I was able just to hold the space and say to her, like, it's okay for you to have that opinion. I also have an opinion, on what we were talking about and to not take it personally. So I have to say, learning GHK to know the biological reasons of why our body responds the way that it is, and then your course or even just working with you in a session just helps to solidify the information to make it come alive and to make it real for how to actually apply it to our lives and to think from, I would say, a higher level where you're not as triggered. I just want to say thank you. It's been such a wonderful experience, and I really love the work that you are doing.
If your mind is busy with psychological concepts, then most of them go against biology. So yes, if this is your mindset, then you are always triggered. But if you realign it with how nature thinks, then of course comes more ease, more understanding, more compassion also, and less reaction. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's such an important point because often we hear it in the Germanic world, oh, we can't avoid conflicts, we can't avoid conflicts. And of course, we know that's true because they hit us on a biological level, but we can adjust and realign our lives in such a way that we can live more biologically. And I think that helps to maybe reduce the number of conflicts that we are more susceptible to or vulnerable to. Yeah, and we see in certain families, and we've seen it in the program where people talk about, well, I have territorial marking, like bladder issues regularly, and my mother had it, and my father had it, and my sister has it, and we all have these different symptoms that show up, continually, and it shows that there's values that are underneath it. And we can, like you said, that's a psychological level, we can change those things, which then changes how vulnerable we are to certain things.
My question would be, what was your favorite part of the program?
For me was definitely accusation transformation. Like to see things differently from another perspective and not taking it personally if somebody freaks out on you, just to really get deep, like, why? Why is this person that way? And why do I feel that way? So to find a positive now, it's a fun thing to do.
And are there less accusations now, or there less fighting?
There's 100%. There is no accusations. There's like, okay, there is something deeper than that.
Yeah, I really like that perception shift. This is the overall topic of the program, or the goal is really to give you different options of how to shift your perception in different situations on different topics, to look at it from a biological perspective, because nature is never bad or against us. It's always for us. If we can learn to look at things more from a biological perspective, the change is coming by itself. It's effortless. It's effortless change. And that's what I love about this work.
Triggers was my favorite class, just to look at, again, what value is someone stepping on within that. And it just really helped to detach from maybe even having to brace or walk through life of like, okay, I'm here to do no harm, and just interacting with other people. Now, when I feel the trigger, I get to just take a step back and look at it from another perspective to go, okay, what is this here teaching me? But also, what is their perspective? Like, what are they trying to say? And maybe don't have the language, and working it out together.
When Martin, you're like, every time you women, you feel something in you. Yeah, he watched it. You do this. Stop doing that. It was such a clear direction because you spell things out in a way where I don't think women understand how caught up we are in the myths of the masculine and the feminine. The second you put that up as an option, every woman I think who is able to will choose it, because it's easier, because it immediately reduces the chaos in our system, and it's like a very effective sorting system where it's just like, okay, I know what to do, which is don't do. Get him to do it. Ask somebody else to do it. And to both of us, that made absolute sense. Like when after that class, when Doran and I talked about it, and I was like, this is what I'm doing now. He's like, great. Phew, thank you. Let me do my thing. Now all the choice becomes available because you notice the feeling right away. And as soon as you notice the feeling, then the options become available. But if you're just in the emotionality and reacting to the judgment of the feeling, there's no choice. You're mindless. Right. So now I was like able to like, okay, well, I just have to identify chaos in my system. And I did it right after that class. I did it. And I right away identified the chaos. I knew what it was about. I said, you need to do this. I said, I didn't say you need to do this. I said, I need this.
Edit that part out.
Yeah, take that part out. I'll start that one again. Right after the class, I had that chaos in my system, and I was able to stop and set a boundary for myself. And, within 12 hours or so, I'd remembered to say to communicate what the feeling was. I was clear on what it was, and I was able to stop there. And then the rest was up to him. And so he could come back it was like the cleanest conflict resolution we've ever experienced, and we weren't even in the same space. He was, he was on the other side of the country and I was here, and we did it so fast because I knew what my lane was, and he responded with what his lane was, and we were done. It didn't have to last. It was fast, 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 and I think that's a skill. Once the information is clear, it's so easy to understand, it's so easy to integrate, and it's so easy to execute.
I would say that in this program, there's a lot of unlearning that we needed to do. We came in, and this gives a new perspective. It gives a new way of seeing things, and we can choose. We can choose now. Do we want the old ways of doing things, or do we want to look at it from a new way? And the new way's been the best.
Does anybody else want to answer the same question about their biggest kind of aha moment?
Oh, Valentine, were you going to go?
Yes, sure. Thank you. The good intention. Definitely that one for now, because it's reconnected to accusation also, because we have to find a good intention. But that one, it just make me like so. I see that there is good. That doesn't mean that I'm not right sometimes, but I'm like, okay, and then I just calm down. So it helps me a lot to not get upset all the time. Yeah, that one.
I was going to say that one as well. I particularly like using it in and working with it in situations where it's really hard to see, like somebody's behavior is outrageous. And it's been really great to expand my awareness and my knowing of the good intention. I've been really liking that one. The other thing I really enjoyed was when we did the exercises where we were talking about who would we put in particular places, like in a new business, or the rental one. I really liked that because it really helped me apply it more to day-to-day life in ways that I hadn't. So it stretched my understanding in lots of ways.
Good practical tools, those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important to make it practical and to make, to connect it to everyday life, to give it an easy, understandable language. Because all the medical terms, they will come anyway. Because if we are busy with that knowledge, if we learn about that knowledge, they will come naturally. But to connect it to everyday life, to make practical exercises, this is so important for us to understand and to connect. To make this, it's not a new method that we learn. It's who we are. We just have to understand how the world is functioning and how biology works. And then, everything is just clear. We all have this inner compass. We all have the instinct. And we are just not trained to look at it or to listen to it. But why would nature put an instinct in us, in all of us, when we are meant to ignore it? It doesn't make sense.
I have to identify what my territory is because I'm constantly reacting to violations of it without knowing that even had one. Now I know.
And you two joined as a couple. How was that for you to join as a couple in this course?
I'd say it was great to be able to experience this as a couple, to be able to work on these concepts together, to have a new shared language and a new shared perspective on our lives.
I would echo what he would say. I think doing it with your partner is doing all these courses with the partners to be able to have the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect and learning them at the same time will do nothing but bring you closer and strengthen the relationship and also unite. For us, we're already united on the mission of family culture, and it's really just solidified what the division of responsibility is under our roof. So we're better parents and better partners.
Yeah, this course makes for better relationships. So if your partner is taking it with you, it's that much more effective.
Win-win.
I mean, this is the best if you do this as a couple and you go through these phases together, hand in hand, and this is my goal, this is your what you have to do now, and again you realign with biology and it becomes more easy. Now that I hear from Doran that, oh yeah, give it to me, that's what I
Yes.
want. This is great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right away.
it works. It just worked. It's so you use the word easier, and life is easier when you're able to sort of lean in the direction of living more biologically. We clearly know what the directions are, and we just need to lean in that direction, and our lives change, and the lives of people around us have changed.
Yeah. And one of now my missions in life is to keep his testosterone high at all times. And
It is not complicated to do so.
it's really not. In order to trigger his, I have to really come back into this feminine place and be feminine. And the reaction is immediate of like this in him. And then I can reflect back to him. He goes like this. Every time I do, he gets taller. It's like everything is just coming up from here. And I do it on purpose now. I'll just smile at him in a certain way and he goes, and it's really like making it fun to just move through life together. And even when it's hard stuff, like we're dealing with really some challenging issues of modern day society that everybody's living in. But if I take those challenges and use them as opportunities to make him go like this.
Yeah, men are very easy creatures.
Now I feel like I've gone from having to, juggle 50 different bits of data at any given time to just 5, because each one had divided into 10 pieces unnecessarily. So there's definitely an ease and a simplicity that has arisen from going through this together and testing out each week on each other. We have the map of the territory that we share now, and now can consciously come together. I think we've moved past the division of responsibility that's very clear to what we're building on that land together.
Yeah, who takes which role moving forward, and it's been amazing for our relationship, and it's really helped us with our kids as well.
Yeah, it's made everything so much more simple and so much clearer.
Yeah, I really liked the feedback that it's applicable, that it's not just another theory or another way of looking at it, but really like something that you can make practical, in an easy way.
Yeah, it's usable. I mean, we could tell you the befores and the afters of our life. Probably everything from the outside is the same, but the entropy in our space is extremely low, and we maintain a low entropy space as a rule.
Yeah, we are living in the same world we were 9 weeks ago before the course, and we're finding so much ease in the same world because our perspective has changed.
Okay, so I have a fun question if anybody wants to answer it. Just unmute yourself. What has the program given you that you didn't expect?
The fact that we can apply GNM or GHK on that we can apply that on everything, like not just body medical aspect or relationship, but also with choice in our life. That was like, whoa, I didn't even see that one coming. Just like it's everywhere. And yeah, that one I didn't see it coming. And it's really good.
It's definitely trusting myself. Yeah, this inner peace finally that everybody's looking for and doesn't know really how it feels. Yeah, that was a big one. I think the biggest.
That sense of inner peace I was talking about at the beginning. I wasn't really expecting that for some reason. I don't know why. I was thinking more it would be, I'd understand and I think more biologically, but I wasn't really expecting the level of kind of that softness and peace that I experience. That's a bit of a surprise for me. Yeah.
And do you think that is because now you understand yourself better from a biological perspective?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's definitely been part of my process is this deepening of connection to myself and yeah, and an intellectual understanding, but they sort of all came together and created that sense of peace inside me in a way that I wasn't really expecting.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's so beautiful, Leslie. I'm so happy to hear that.
Mhm.
Well done, Martin.
Thank you, Martin.
I just explained everything. You know, I mean, the fun part is that the piece was already there. It was always in you. You could just not, you know, how do you say, connect to it, but it was always there. I didn't put any piece into you, but you know, I explained how nature works and how we can shift our perception, and then suddenly the piece was there. So that's our natural state of being, to be at ease, to be peaceful, and to know what we want and to set boundaries. This is our natural ability for all of us.
Yeah, and it's like you always say, Martin, we also have to unlearn. That's the important part of it too, right? And we have to unlearn a lot of social conditioning and you just helped us to see what is biological, which what we were maybe told was wrong. So
I think that one thing that was sort of unexpected for me was, um, sort of coming to learn, um, but how interactive it was. It really got me excited about listening to other people's stories and what they were going through, and kind of like pulling threads with people, and that really was exciting. And it really inspired me to have that in my own community, to bring that into my in real life space, and create something like that where we can sit around and talk about our lives and have other ears to hear what we what we're saying but can't hear ourselves. It's just another way to come alongside people. Like I feel like that is so exciting to me, and yeah, to be able to come alongside.
and the program certainly, yeah, has lots of tools to help us to keep that connection when our default nowadays seems to be just to cut the connection when we get frustrated or annoyed or triggered. Okay, let's just shut the doors there, shut the door there. But no, there's a better way. The biological way.
For me, it also really helped just to see how the commonality, that we share so many things that are similar, and that was really beautiful to see in the group that I'm in currently. There's so many similarities and connections, and
So was this 3 hour time frame a struggle for you, or was it easy, or was it that you didn't even think about it, that it was 3 hours? How was it for you?
I'll answer that because I was so triggered by it in the very beginning. And I love to learn. I love, 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 love to learn. But I found that fascinating that I was like, I was really like, I can't sit here for 3 hours. Like someone set a container and it's 3 hours and it would go over. And the typical learner in me would, of course, obsess over this. But the part of me that I wasn't in touch with was the nature part, the natural part to sit with women, mostly women in my group, and share. Like I'm so operating in the masculine that I couldn't even appreciate that part. So it wasn't until, halfway through, and I didn't even think I had that realization until just now. Like I was so triggered. So that I thought that was funny. And I sit in and at 3 hours are up and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Where's everybody going? So I think it's perfect, time to have everybody in that community to share. And of course, I think what I want to share that I gleaned that I wasn't expecting is that you flipped the script on fair, because that inner child in me that's still fighting is like, this is not fair in general. And I want to blame and, and just hide from all of that. Like I'm not a victim, but I'm constantly blaming. So this equation that came out of this class that was completely unexpected, that has given me such peace, but also really what's under there is self-respect and respect for others, respect and responsibility. So for me to consider that 3 hours means something, but really in the end, looking at all of it and saying, oh my God, what being able to set boundaries and what does that mean? I mean, I shied away from that also. And I don't want like to be a broken record, but it really is such. I spent 3 years in codependency recovery, 12 steps, learning how to do boundaries, and I was completely still activated until I stepped into this space and understood why. Because it's natural. There's a territory. And what is the nuance to my territory? And how do I respect my territory and consider yours? This is symbiosis. This is nature in flow. Like we don't talk about that in the 12-step rooms, at least that I didn't hear it at the time. So that was completely unexpected, is that boundaries for me equals respect, and respect all around, not you better than me. It's, oh my God, we get to live together in peace and harmony, and this fence or this title of this is my husband and this is your wife, all of this is to give respect and consideration to what you consider to be your territory. Judgment is out the window. It has nothing to do with it. So that was my unexpected, is that boundaries brought was respect, and to rise into that responsibility to consider my territory and yours. It's not just my against, it's my and yours.
Totally agree with you, Martin. I think that 3 hours is needed for the depth of sharing that I saw happening for myself and for other people in the group. I have to say, though, I was pretty tired after 3 hours. Just my brain just felt like it needed a rest. But I don't see how you could do it in less time. I would absolutely recommend this program for people that want to dive deeply into themselves and want to understand how to look at their life and the world more biologically. And also, one of the things I would add is you really have to be open and willing to kind of leave your ego. Like I think one of the people in our group said, leave your ego at the door, because it's kind of intense. Like you have to kind of open up a lot of stuff, and not always comfortable, but it's also amazing. So
Thank you.
wonderful to see everyone. I'm going to have to hop off, and
Thank you,
hope to see
Leslie.
everybody. You're welcome. Bye.
Would you recommend this program to somebody?
I'd say if you were wondering whether or not to take this course, if you're looking to improve your relationships in any which way, if you're looking to improve your ease in the world in any which way, your understanding of yourself, I'd say go for it. It'll give you a new perspective.
And for me, if you're wondering if you should take the course, the answer is just yes. Stop wondering, take it, find out.
Yes, most definitely. I like it because it's not a super long time, but also just a way of taking core principles and how you run them through your day to day and being able to have better relationships. Absolutely.
Honestly, I missed the last class, but I've watched the recording, and it was a great 8 weeks. I'm looking forward to extension and everything that's to come. But it just sort of is all mattering. It's all making a difference, and I'm making a difference in the lives of others now. So it's been fantastic. Thank you.
Upgrade your life. Like, why, if there's an option not to suffer the way you're suffering, if the information is available, what's holding you back? So hopefully we'll get some more.
I think for sometimes it's really hard to put words to it. So to explain it, what is this about? What do you mean with biological thinking? Yeah, you cannot really explain it.
I mean, it's the roadmap to ease and simplicity in your relationships.
We live in a complicated world, but biology has been working for thousands of years, and this helps you tap into that, what actually works on the foundation of your life.
Goran, you want to be my selling partner?
But that's why we need men. That's why when Martin says something, all the women are like, because we're like, blah, 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 blah. The men say this thing. We're like, oh, that. You heard? Got it? Heard what they're saying? Good.
Yes, I hope you heard it.
Do more. Do more.
Yeah, give us more of that. So it's always great to have men in classes, and more men also in this with this knowledge. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I've been trying to wrestle with how important this is for the last 6 months or so as I figure my way out, and it's really landed nicely, and it's not complicated, and that's the thing I love most about it. Is it's you can feel it, you can feel the direction, you can feel the truth of biological living.
The fact that he's doing it, I'm like one of the privileged few. What you've done a phenomenal job of is being the masculine, doing the containment, because all the women relax when you direct us like that.
Would you recommend the program?
Yes, definitely yes. Like again, the practical tool and when everybody was sharing about like the milestone that they like, I just remember everything in my class, and I'm like, but I forgot about talking about that one and that one and that one and that. So yeah, every class is just like mind blowing of tools and changing perspective mostly. Changing perspective. So yes, I will recommend that, definitely.
Yeah, I would also highly recommend this program. I feel like, especially to the people I know who are heavy into the theory and haven't quite explored the practical or the perspective shifts that this program offers. So I know one friend in particular who I'm like, please, please take it because she has all the book knowledge. And I could just see her benefiting so much from exploring the perspective shifts that come in this program.
I would definitely recommend this program from a mother's point of view. If you have children, and that's the next generation, right? So you want them to have the knowledge, you want them to be functioning in their biology and not like based on society, so they can trust their instincts again. So we can go back actually way more like our ancestors lived than what society tells us how we should live, because it's not sustainable. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Like if you're a mom, you have to do it almost. Like, yeah.
This specific container, this program specifically, this learning to think and live biologically, specifically for me, is that word biological. I am so logical, so intellectual, such a constellated flyer. And to have the opportunity to land and live like nature, live as a human, as a mammal, has given me it, it really, it's like permission to land. And to say that I signed up for a year-long container to learn the technical, logical at the same time. And a month in, I contacted the instructor and I said, I can't do this. I can't explain why, but now I understand why, because it's not what I need anymore. What I need is to be able to live here as a mammal, as nature, as a woman, as as a human, as interacting with people. The books aren't going to cut it anymore. So for me, this is that unexpected moment where I can look and say, oh my God, this is the bio part. I am the biggest cheerleader for this. I can't share enough stories of my own personal experiences, of taking my life experiences, things that did not make sense to me or that I was fighting, to be able to say, oh my God, it makes sense and here's why. It gives peace, respect, consideration. I mean, I was laughing with Martin about a story, I was laughing. Like, to be able to laugh at something that was so emotionally destroying at the time. And so the tagline is nature wins. Okay, no problem. I'll back off. So I can't say enough. I cannot say enough. From the mind to the physical embodiment of this it's life-changing. And I don't know if I'll go back to the year container. I want more of this. And you already know I've signed up for the extended. And what else is there? I'm in. I can give you all the topics from the flyer. Here's what we need to break down and decode for living as a human. So you got me. I'm in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's super. Thank you, Amy.
I want to say thank you again that you took the time to come here and to share, and that you give us the permission that we can share this with others. I think it's really important that this goes out in the world in a very applicable and easy understandable way. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you all
Thank you
soon.
so much.
Thank you. Nice to
Great
meet you,
day.
ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well,
Thank
enjoy
you
the
very
rest of your
much.
day.
Thank you so much.
Good
Our
to see
pleasure.
you
Yeah.
all.
Thank
And we'll
you.
see
Take
you
care,
again.
Christine.
See you
Bye.
Thursday. Bye.
Bye.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if we
Yeah.
didn't record it and we just got all that feedback, that is fantastic. So thank you.
Yeah. Did I actually record it?
It says recording. Yes. Oh my God. Why did I do that?